January 1st, 2020, you made it a goal that you wanted to be a full-time YouTuber in 1 year.
Yep.
Quite literally on the last day of that year, you put in your 2 weeks at your job, clocked out for the last time, and you're a full-time YouTuber.
Yeah.
What was that year like?
Oh man, that whole year was a blur. Test.
Wowzer.
Yep.
What's up, hometown
What's
guy?
up, man? How's it going?
It's going good. It's nice. It's always nice to meet people who are so close in vicinity who are doing amazing things.
Yeah, you're like right down the road.
Yeah.
Once I typed
You got a sick spot, bro. The Swamp Ranch is what you call it.
Yeah.
What is that thing? What's going on over there?
It's 21 acres.
Okay.
It's swampland. It's zoned as ranch, so that's kind of how we got the name Swamp Ranch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just we got a shop there. We ride, we mud.
Sweet. Is it pretty treacherous? There's that when it gets real rainy. Is there some parts where you go mudding?
Yeah, you can lose your machines out there for sure. Yeah, we've had quite a few casualties out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much so you can quite literally lose a vehicle, like just have it get ruined through mudding or what?
Yeah, there's a lot of breaking in this sport or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like when you're riding through the water, you can't tell how deep it's going to be. It could just drop off on you. So you have to be careful of that. I know my property, so I know where all the holes are, where to stay away from when it...
Do you ever, when like you're taking somebody out, do you ever not tell them when they're about to go through a little bit of a deeper hole just so they can get, or is that something you let people know?
No, it's I let them know. I have let people know in the past, and they still go in it, and it's like I told you so. But I let them know just because it's like it's a lot of money, man. So it's like, but yeah, for the most part, you can pretty much do your thing out there. You just kind of got to know where to stay away from, and that kind of comes natural with it too. Like when you feel it start to drop off, you can be like, all right, do I want to try this? Do I want to back out? And
yeah, mudding's really, really cool on especially the big like one-seater ATVs and stuff. It looks like you're riding a horse or something when you're getting down in there.
Yeah, it's crazy how far they've come. I've rode since I was like 4 years old, before that is Power Wheels. And my first four-wheeler it was like a 80-something Honda. I actually have the same one at the house, but it has zero suspension. Like the tires are the suspension.
Yeah.
So, which they had suspension back then, but for like even the kids' four-wheelers now, they're just real smooth and the performance is insane.
Funny enough, I had a four-wheeler when I was 3 years old, just a real tiny one. I don't know really what it was, but I broke my leg in 3 places on it.
Oh, shoot.
And I remember I got to the hospital and I found out kind of what the real world was because my leg was so hurt that I couldn't really speak. I was just like, I broke it in 3 places. I'm 3 years old. I just learned how to talk, bro.
Yeah.
And I remember them interviewing me and then interviewing my parents to see what actually happened and stuff. And, when you get to the hospital, they almost interrogate your parents sometimes when you're little and get hurt.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough. I've never broken a bone ever.
Damn, what?
Yeah, in my life.
And your line of work?
Lucky.
Yeah.
I'm like crazy, but I know my limits. I've pushed them here and there, but I've gotten lucky for sure.
It takes a bad spill to break a bone too.
Yeah. Yeah.
A real bad. Have you seen, because you go to all the events, you get invited out to, have you ever seen some crazy crashes in person?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Like some crazy close calls. My buddy actually just fractured his arm. He's lucky that's all that happened. But
Sweet.
He has NOS on his four-wheeler, and they're belt driven, and he was hitting it for about 10 minutes, just skimming across the water, and the belt broke. So it just sent him
flying over.
The four-wheeler went tumbling forward, landing on him. But yeah.
That's what happened to me was I fell and then my leg actually got into the under part beneath the wheel.
Oh.
And so it spun and flipped too, and it, turned my leg a different way.
dang, you got caught in it.
Yeah.
While it tumbled.
So I haven't touched it. I haven't touched a 4-wheeler since.
Yeah,
man.
I don't blame you.
That's my biggest nightmare. This episode's my biggest nightmare right now. I'm terrified. No. So I kind of want to get into your journey, especially in recent years, because you have this video that kind of hit deep for me, where January 1st of 2020, you made it a goal that you wanted to be a full-time YouTuber in 1 year.
Yep.
Quite literally on the last day of that year, you put in your 2 weeks at your job, clocked out for the last time, and you're a full-time YouTuber. Yeah. What was that year like, that journey? What did you have to do?
Oh man, that whole year was a blur. Like it all happened so fast. Pretty much I set that goal for myself like on New Year's, that I wanted to quit my job. And it was a pretty crazy goal because, you know, 1 year is a very short time to do that. But I had to cut everything else out of my life that wasn't involved with that, including cutting my hair. That was one of the reasons why I was like, I can't cut my hair until I quit my job, which I ended up doing, and then I regretted it, so I grew it back out. But yeah, I just grinded, like, you know, it was like 18-hour days, you know, because I was still working, and then I'd have to film and edit when I got off work, and then work on the machines, make sure everything's going. Some traveling was involved. I used like my 2 weeks notice right before the end of the year to like give myself the extra push. But yeah, I don't know.
So being boring, I feel like, is a good thing to do, because you kind of said that year you just didn't really do much except for the work itself and the traveling itself. I feel like to be successful at times, you kind of have to subtracting like all those extra. You got to be set on one goal, and then the family, and then friend. You know, all the remedials that comes with being a good human.
Well, that was really hard for me too, because like I set such like a short time limit for myself to do this. So I mean, like I've missed Thanksgiving, or like Thanksgiving was at my house and I'm sitting there welding on my side by side, and you know what I mean, I'm still there.
Where's Kolt at?
All there. So it's like I had to cut a lot of that out, you know, birthdays, baby showers, all that. Looking back, I'm glad I did it, but I wouldn't do it again because it took a lot out of me. I would see in videos where I just couldn't have a conversation, like, or I didn't hear someone because I was in my head, like focusing on the next move, and I didn't notice it then, but I edited my videos. So like when I go back and see the raw footage, I'm just like, oh man, if like I just straight ignored them, why didn't they say something to me? Like, you know, and that's how I noticed, but I didn't really notice that until the end of the year, right before that last like push to get myself to quit my job. But yeah,
congrats. What was there a moment where something happened during your career where you were like, oh yeah, I can definitely do this full time? Like, what part in that year were you like, this is real, my goal is right there, I can quit this job?
I knew from the beginning.
Sweet.
Like in my head, it was like, I'm quitting my, like, there's no choice. There's no other option.
Burn the boats.
And it was like, I think the hardest thing to do was like, convince everyone. Like my dad, he was worried when I said that. Of course, him being a parent, he's going to like question me on it. And he would keep using the word if, and finally one day I was like, yo, there's like, quit using that word, it's gonna happen. Like, you know. And I think like once I kind of said that to him, I saw like a complete turnaround, and he's like, well, how can I help? And he's like, if I go out and buy this 650, this brand new 4-wheeler, and lift it up, will that help? I'm like, yeah, but you know, like, no, that's a lot of money. No, like, I'm only making this much. Like, he's like, no, but I want one. Like, and you can build it, and it ended up working. You know, like
having a support system's so important.
Huge.
And you have to earn that respect, especially kind of in the content game.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You have to earn it, but you know it. You know you can do it because you're consistent. But
yeah, well, they have to believe in you, and like I'm a giver, so it's hard to receive. Like even with like sponsors and stuff, it's like my friends would tell me, "Oh, you can get that," and I'm like, "No, that's just." I'd rather give them more. Well, in reality, I'm actually giving them a lot. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming back. So I realize that now. But yeah, so it was hard for me to accept help, but it was still there if I needed it, like when I really needed it. So
sweet.
Yeah.
What's the love language with mudding and off-roading? What's so special about it to you?
Dude, it's just a getaway.
It's a getaway.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I bought my four-wheeler was just to like release some stress, like just kind of get away, and the outdoors, you just feel so free out there. You know what I mean? Like you can go wherever, and there's a little bit of challenge, and the whole community is just like, it's not like going downtown Orlando and like you're in line and no one wants to talk. Like people just come up and talk to you, or you can go up to anyone and talk to them. Sweet. And everyone's cool for the most part. I mean, it is growing. There's a lot more, it's a growing industry. So there's a lot of people new to it that don't really understand the whole culture, but then they get used to it. So in the beginning, they're a little standoffish, but like for the most part, it's just all love.
Yeah, bro. I knew nothing about mudding and off-roading. I knew it existed. I had my boys who would go off-roading and mudding, but being introduced to the culture, I was like, oh, there's like phrases. Speaking of phrases.
Yeah.
How was your night last night? That's like your tagline.
Yeah.
When did that happen? Where did that come from?
All right. So my dad's buddy came out, and he came out to the ranch. He took some vacation, and he had a rough night the night before. We have a video of him. He was pulling in the winch cable. Well, he was supposed to hold it tight, and they were winching it in. Well, he thought it was tight, but it was still loose. So like he went to like lean back, and he just fell back and like into the mud. But yeah, he was just gone. So the next morning he was looking all rough. We were out there cutting some trails and stuff, and I just could tell like he was just not feeling it. So I laughed, and I was like, how was your night last night? And I just kind of threw it into my intro because I thought it was funny and people loved it. I took it out of my video one time, and they're like, put it back in. So
you can't take it out, dude.
I was like, all right, I'll put it back in. It just kind of stuck.
I was wondering what that context of how was your night last night. I was assuming it was something where a guy just kind of had a bad night and you were just poking fun at him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And, like we'll still use it. Like we do the same thing to each other. Like my friends mock me for it when I have one of those nights or whatever. So it's funny.
You kind of have a close friend that does some of the content with you, J-Ball.
Yeah.
What's it like having him close to you?
Oh man, J-Ball, dude. Like he's one of my best friends. He's one of my biggest supporters, really, too. And like in the beginning, he didn't want like really any part of it. I actually asked him, I was like, yo, like, do you want me to leave you out of it? He's like, no, I don't care. Like, I was like, just so you know, like people are gonna know you more now.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, it's cool. And like he really didn't want anything to do with social media at all. Like, he'd posted side by side and stuff, but he didn't really care about that. He never watched YouTube or any of that stuff. So but yeah, I've seen him like grow into what he is now.
His mullet is insane. His mullet?
Yeah, he gets a lot of comments about that. But yeah, if he cuts it off, he's done for sure. Like he's done.
So you introduced J-Ball to kind of like the YouTube stuff. Does he? Because I see he posts TikToks and stuff. I'm just curious. Does he make videos too?
Yeah. He's actually getting more. This year is like when he's actually taking it serious. He sees an opportunity.
Sweet.
He's a businessman, so he's like, and we've had the talks about it. I'm like, dude, like, you could just start your own thing and roll with it. You can make money off of it. It's free money pretty much. I mean, you got to work for it some as far as editing. It does take time, but I mean, it's right there. You know, everyone already knows you. People want it. So he's doing his thing on TikTok. Actually, I'm slacking on it. I need on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah, the fans are mad, dude. They're wanting more YouTube videos, dude.
I know, man. They're coming soon. They're coming soon.
Okay.
Or this camera, they're coming soon.
Yeah, yeah, because it's. So I saw it's been about 5 months since you posted a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So you have some in line, some ideas that you're.
Yeah. I stopped making them to work on my build. For the most part, and because I seen the money in TikTok as well. I'm having fun with skits.
Yeah.
My thing is, it felt like a job again, whereas in the beginning it was fun. Like I enjoyed it, and I feel like they came more natural. So like I just don't see myself doing anything I don't enjoy. You know what I mean? That was the whole reason why I got into YouTube, is because I didn't enjoy turning wrenches. You know what I mean? I wanted something else. So like, I'm not in it to make a bunch of money. If it comes, it's cool. I hope it comes so I can continue doing this. But as long as I can live and do what I want, you know, my bills are paid, I'm happy. And I'm just enjoying the journey on the ride. And so... TikToks.
So the skit comedy is kind of more what you're enjoying right now.
Yeah, I'm having fun with that.
And it teaches a lot about the culture of mudding too. Because a lot of your skits, it's like, oh, the guy who litters with, you know, the beers and stuff. And you got to tell him not to litter.
Yeah. There's normally not a lot of that. Like I said, the industry's growing. So there's like a lot of other people that just, you know, that have money and buy a side-by-side and come out there. For the most part, people are pretty good, but there are some groups out there that will litter, and I like to call them out for it because, I mean, no one else does.
Right.
So, but I'd say the same thing to their face. So I kind of call them out in videos here and there for it.
You know, surprisingly, I'm more introverted when it comes to like strangers and being out in public, but I've seen somebody litter out their car door before. Yeah. There's been a couple times I'm like, tonight's the night I pick up that 7-Up and, you know, throw it on the windshield. Like, find a trash can, dummy.
Yeah. No, I just, like at mud parks, everyone knows who I am, and I take that into consideration. So, I mean, I can just kind of see someone litter and just pick it up and throw it away. And that right there is a loud enough statement. For me, at least, you know what I mean? People will see that and be like, and in hopes that, oh, Kolt Gene don't like that shit. So maybe I won't do it.
That's a much smarter way to go about it than the way I said.
Yeah, try to avoid conflict or, you know, drama, but, you know, actually say something at the same time without words.
I feel like the world is a small town. Yeah. And especially when you start making videos and start, you know, actually influencing people in positive ways, it's like, oh gosh, I have a responsibility to meet that guy at the gas station and like, you know, make an impression.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah.
It's my buddy. He's a rapper. His name is False Chris.
Okay.
I did some shows in Miami and I met him there, and he came up to me, shook my hand, introduced himself, said he loves my stuff. The way this kid interacts with people is he's always trying to learn who you are, and he's always trying to touch soul to soul. Mm-hmm. And when he posts his music, he's got like 9,000 likes, 200 comments, and every comment is like people I know too. Just they're like, we love False, like you're awesome, man. That's like, if you treat the world like a small town and you take everybody and treat them like equals, bro, your content will get a lot of love. Your brand will get a lot of love. You'll get a lot of love.
Yeah, you'll get.
The world's a small town.
I get messages from parents all the time when I meet their kids or whatever at the park, and they always take time to like thank me and you know how far it goes, and it's just like, no, like you don't understand what it's like for me, how cool that is for me. It doesn't get old, you know, especially the kids. I'll have grown-ass men run up to me just hype and like, oh, Kolt Gene, and that will give me chills. And it's like, dude, I'm a normal dude, but you know, it's all love, it's support, and I dig that. It feels awesome. Whenever I'm down, I'm like, all right, I gotta go to an event, you know, because I know my people will bring me up and keep me going.
How many events are happening kind of in mudding and off-roading? Every weekend, or is it pretty rare?
Yeah, you can go like every weekend if you're talking the country. But I mean, as far as Florida, there's a lot of truck events in Florida. Those are like the big ones. There's a couple parks around, but I like to travel. I like to meet new people, see new places. When you ride as much as I do, like you want to go different spots. But yeah, I could go like every weekend if I wanted to. Sweet. But it's just
What are those events like? The mudding events?
They differ. You'll have your smaller parks, and then you'll have your big party events where it's just like chaos. And to sum them up, it's just, I don't know. Everyone's just out riding around, drinking, partying.
Is there a lot of brands there too? With like, so for events, do some brands that sell, utility things or maybe stickers and stuff, do they show up?
Yeah, like for the bigger ones, they have like vendors out there. Like some of the big vendors or local vendors. As far as like brands, there are some mud brands out there. But they come and go, I feel like. Yeah. Or they're more of like a local thing. It all depends. I mean, but yeah, for the big events, there are like actual vendors. It's more for like parts and stuff.
Yeah. You're a bit of a pioneer, man. Kind of in mudding and off-roading, is there somebody else who's kind of really, really put recording it on the map and posting it on YouTube? Is there some honorable features you can mention?
I mean, I started off watching Asta Cruiser, which is like, he doesn't like when people say this, but like the OG. He's the OG of like Can-Am and YouTube, and he was the one. He's been doing it for probably 12 to 15 years. I don't know, a long time.
Sweet.
So I remember.
What's his name? I want to see.
Asta Cruiser. OSTA Cruiser.
That's an interesting name.
He's up there in Canada. Shout out Asta Cruiser.
They're getting down up there?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, Canada, like them boys up in Canada, they have skeg up there. So it's like a lake with like a mat of like, I don't know, like almost like hay and mud mixed together. It's hard to explain. I've never seen it. So, but it's like a floating mat, and you can just pin it through the whole thing and hold it wide open. But there are like some holes, some soft spots that you can fall in, and depending on how deep that lake is, you could actually lose your stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, them boys up there are wild.
Sweet. The Canadians, man, they get down, I guess.
Yeah, they do for sure.
What's the most like Florida thing you think you've done? Like if you could point at it and be like, yeah, that's a Florida thing I've done.
Dang.
You just went through 100 examples probably in your head. Like, I did that, and then.
Off the top of my head, I don't know if this would be like a Florida thing, but my buddy Reed Hansen, he's a 11 or 12 time world wake skating champion.
Sweet.
He came out to the swamp, and we took his wheel and tire off and put a rim on his truck, and then rolled a rope around it and ran it across our swamp, and then we hit the gas and pulled him across our swamp on the wake skate.
That sounds like a Florida thing to do. I like it.
Yeah. It was pretty dope.
So you're pulling the truck, and the truck.
No, we parked the truck and we put it on jack stands, and then we just put like a rim on there, and we wrapped this rope around it. Yeah, we wrapped it up enough to where we can hit the gas and pull them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. One of my buddies went first, and he's like the turbo kicked in and it yanked him, and he went tumbling down. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
I remember, dude, it's crazy. When I was a kid, I guess I was crazy because nowadays I don't be doing anything like this, but there was a pit and there was a bunch of trees, and I took this like tarp and I tied it with ropes on each of the trees to make like a little homemade trampoline. And so I climb this tree and I jump onto I'm alone, dude. There ain't no neighborhood kids with me. It's just me doing this. I jump from the tree to like jump on the tarp to get the biggest jump. I just go straight through the tarp and I land on my back on a rock, and I'm just sitting there groaning.
Oh man. Yeah, I've had some falls like that where it knocks the breath out of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I won't ever do again. I also remember riding my bike and I hit one of those parking curb stops. I hit it. I meant to go over it, but I hit it and it kind of stopped me, and I got the wind knocked out of me for the first time. And I remember laying there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dead. Like the first time you get the wind knocked out of you.
Oh yeah.
You don't know. That's the last breath there.
That happened to me a lot when I was a kid. I have fallen off my 4-wheeler when I was a kid, and one time I fell off. Well, someone else was driving, and it happened to me, and I was like, and he was like talking to me, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was such a hot summer day too. It sucked, and like the itchy grass. It was miserable.
Speaking of itchy, when it comes to mudding, when you get splashed with mud all over the face, and sometimes you probably feel it go in your ear real hard.
Yeah.
Are you ever scared of like bacteria and stuff, or is that kind of like
no,
fuck all that?
Yeah. No. I mean, I was out there like I threw a quarantine party at my house. And
sweet.
Like, so I feel like, and no one got sick from it that I know of. But yeah, I threw a quarantine, and that was like one of the things that helped blow me up, because like, you know, during COVID and everything, that was big for YouTube. But no, I never really think about that kind of stuff.
Sweet. You do hurricane parties?
Not anymore. I mean, I've kind of died out on the parties lately. Okay. I used to throw big parties before all this. And then, you know, now that I'm riding and everything, I have like riding parties. So you can only make them so big, because, you know, there's trucks and trailers coming. There's only so much room to park. But I should throw a hurricane party. The last couple ones been at night. So it's like, you know, it's kind of hard.
What's the terrain like after a big hurricane? You go out, into the swamp ranch after a big hurricane?
We've had some, like, actually that quarantine party, we had a big storm come through, and there's like a bad tornado warning, and I don't know, it makes it better, because it was kind of dry when I started the party, and then it just made all the trails like soupy and slippery, and it makes it better, especially with a limited. You can have windows and AC and everything. It's
like a euphoric feeling sitting in shelter when there's a big storm, especially with a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's like we're all safe in here, and then you hear the wind flying by. Some people are sitting outside.
And in our shop, it's like tin roof, so it's just like makes it sound even worse than what it is. So yeah, it's a good time out there.
Can you count how many toys you have on a hand, or do you have a bunch of different toys?
I have 3.
You have 3?
But there's probably like 30 at my house.
Sweet. People park them there? They're just like, hey, can I park it here, Colt? Use it when you want.
Buddies, and then my dad will work on like little odd jobs here and there.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Have you ever seen that movie? When they take the car for a ride, and then they reset the speedometer all the way back. Mm-hmm. Or not the speedometer. What's that called?
Well, I try to drive. It was a speedometer.
Okay.
But I try to drive my buddy's stuff, just because, like, if they don't show up for a while, I'm like, dude, your battery's gonna be dead. Like, you know what I mean? So I try to start it, but there's so many. I forget they're there sometimes. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, this one's here. Forgot about that one. But
have you seen people take stuff like Honda Civics out there? Do people ever take some really goofy rides?
Yeah. You see some crazy stuff, dude.
Like a Nissan Altima flying through.
Like some redneck ingenuity, and kids will be riding around on like some homemade lawnmower jacked up, and you see some crazy stuff.
Yeah, dude, I'm from Iowa, bro. I know all about the lawnmowers. John Deere.
Oh, okay.
That's where I came from. I lived right off John Deere Road, baby.
Yeah, they mud those out there, and anything that moves, you know what I mean? As long as you can get out there and ride, they'll bring it. Now, like the ATV parks are more strict on, like, you know, you can't take trucks and cars out there just because it's like you're mixing ATVs and trucks. But they have truck events where they're all mixed together, but they're more like party events. There's not like, I like to trail ride. I'm not there for the party.
Okay.
I'll stop by the party, say what's up, but I like to ride. Like if I start to get blocked in, like I'm leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the relationship between BMX riders, skaters, and scooter riders. Does that relate at all to like people who show up with an ATV and then people who show up with a side-by-side and then people who show up with a makeshift golf cart?
I mean, we can all ride together.
Right.
It is better. Like if I'm on a four-wheeler, I don't want side-by-sides to be with me. Unless I'm like filming or something. But like when I'm on a four-wheeler, I really don't want a big group. Because I want to cruise as fast as I can. I'd say like 2 to 4 is the perfect number.
Okay.
In the side-by-side, I don't care. I'll ride with big groups because it's more of like a cruise for me, at least in my side-by-side.
Yeah.
You can get the fast ones. The thing about side-by-sides is you can build them for like so many different things. I'm sure you're from up north. You guys ride side-by-sides up there?
People have side-by-sides, but it's usually just in the garage. Yeah. And then you pull it out to get the mail from down the driveway,
okay,
you know?
Yeah, more like a around the house.
Yeah,
farm.
at least from where I was from in Adel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can go up into the mountains like Moab or Windrock and stuff like that. And that's probably going to be like one of my next builds. But for the mudding and everything, side-by-sides are just more for like cruising around, and you got your cooler, your jams, all that.
Sweet. My dream vehicle used to be a Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah.
When I was like 16, I'm like, I'll save up some money, get a beat down, maybe like, 2003 soft top.
No, they're
expensive.
Yeah.
They hold their value.
Yeah, for sure.
What in the world, bro?
Yeah.
I was searching for a car. I was buying a car at like 19. I was searching for cars, and there wasn't a single Jeep Wrangler old enough that was less than $27,000.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
What in the world?
Yeah, they definitely hold their value.
You ever take Wranglers out there?
My sister has. She bought a brand new one.
Sweet.
And I think my dad drove it out through there. She like hit one little mud hole through it or whatever. But I used to have a Jeep XJ. Okay. And that thing was fun. It was before I had my Can-Am. And so anytime someone would come out, I'd show them the property and that. And I drove that thing smacking rev limiter all the time. So it would just be a ride. And there's like no headliner and these little screws poking up. So they got to be careful not to hit their head on the screws. It was wild.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So we touched on this question kind of a little bit, but I want to ask, how has the mudding and off-roading culture evolved or changed through recent years? Has there been some big things that's kind of switched?
Dude, it's just growing so fast. If you look back, just even since I started YouTube, which is I think 3 years ago, maybe 4. Yeah, about 3 years ago, just so much has changed. I mean, the big side-by-sides used to be like 40-inch, 42-inch. Now like 50s is normal for a big side-by-side, and then they have up to like 72-inch bounty hole buggies, and
gosh,
like it's insane, man. Like how far the industry's come. It's still growing.
So it's just getting more and more gnarly. It's like bigger and better.
Yeah, and I don't know when it's gonna stop. Like my buddy's he just finished his build on 50s, and now he's talking about going up to 52s. Like just another, you know what I mean? And it's never gonna stop. So I'm doing my best to fight going bigger as long as, I'm taking the steps up. Yeah. Which instead of just jumping right to big, because dude, it's expensive. Like you get up, you break a lot of stuff, and the bigger you go, the easier it is. And for me, as much as I ride, I don't want to be working on it so much every time because it takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah. Does it break almost every time you go out if you're really riding? Does something happen?
Oh yeah. If I'm really riding, I'm breaking something.
Sweet.
Like, period.
Is that how you judge if you really rode it or not? Like when you get back, is there something a little messed up? This thing's dangling off?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, sometimes you have those breaks where it's like, what the heck? Yeah. Like, why did that
tree branch grabbed on the back or something?
Or like stupid stuff like a bolt backing out or something. Okay. Like, and then like, but yeah, like I pretty much every time I go out expect to break something, especially on my four-wheeler. Like, it's just like, I already know, like, okay, the way I ride it, I'm not going to tone down. I'm going to ride it how I bought it for a reason, to ride the shit out of it. So, I expect to break something on that every time I ride.
Dude, humans are interesting because we get super into things and then we just keep going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And I like how responsible you are about it, saying like, you're doing the increments because you got to set the tone as especially content creators in the business.
Yeah.
All the kids who are going mudding every weekend are watching a Kolt Gene video when you drop it,
Yeah.
So you kind of got to set that tone.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there are some other channels out there with some big stuff and they see it. It's just, it's expensive, dude. If it wasn't for sponsors, I really wouldn't have been able to lift mine this big. You know what I mean? I go to these mud parks and dude, you'll see millions, tens and $20 million worth of shit just out there. It's crazy. Cause if you count, if you're going, you need a truck and a trailer at the very least. And then you could sleep in a tent, or a lot of people will get an RV. And some people will show up in semis, the money in it is ridiculous. And that's not counting the side-by-sides. People have $100,000 or more wrapped up in some of these builds. And it's just crazy if you think about it and how many people are out there. It's there's a lot of money in it.
I know probably a lot of the young guys who get into it probably get that summer job at 16.
Yeah.
And then they save up and they buy their first 4-wheeler and whatnot.
Yeah, well, like I said, you can get in with there's levels to it. I would say what I ride is one of the more expensive ones. But I mean, I rode a Honda before, which is more cheaper and more reliable. You aren't braking as much. There's not as much power. So, mechanical.
So you're pro Honda.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I like Hondas. Okay.
Oh, I love Honda.
Is that I saw one of your skits. Is it an ongoing thing where Honda drivers are?
Yeah, some of the people will comment on there what do you have? You have a problem with Hondas? I'm like, no, dude, I have a Honda. It's in the video. I like Hondas. I just prefer to ride a Can-Am. There's more power. But Hondas are fun too. You can go out there and just beat on them and laugh and make it back to camp without worry. It's different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're two on things.
Uh-huh. How hard is it to mud? So I've never actually went mudding.
Yeah.
Would you say first go, you tell me kind of what to do, how to do it, and help me when I'm stuck? Could I slam some of the bigger holes, or is it kind of you're going to get stuck? You're not going to be able to get out?
It's something anyone can do. I mean, there are risks, for the machine and yourself, depending on how hard you go. These my 4-wheeler weighs 1,100 pounds.
Yeah,
so that thing falls on you.
That weighs as much as my ex-girlfriend, man. I was saying.
So there are risks to it. That's why I kind of started wearing a helmet. Growing up in Florida, no one really wears helmets down here. And when I quit my job, I realized I had a couple scares, and I was I kind of have something to live for. I don't want to be brain dead. I'm riding more. The chances of me getting hurt are higher now. So, but yeah, it's something anyone can do. You may get stuck more, but you learn it. A lot of people will get in and just think that flooring it is going to get you. No, that'll depending on what it is, it'll dig you deeper. And so there are some tricks to it.
Okay.
But there is a little bit of work involved. You can get in some holes that will tire you out. But that's the fun of it. You get to talk shit when someone gets stuck and rag on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, mess with each other.
Especially Honda drivers, especially when they get stuck. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So personally, what's the most insane thing you think you've driven out there?
I would say I really like the Can-Am Maverick RR.
Sweet. I'm gonna look up a picture.
That's probably gonna be my next side-by-side, actually. I've driven some crazy builds out there. I try not to drive other people's stuff just because, especially 4-wheelers, because I don't know who worked on it. And I'm real big on 4-wheelers, especially everything's tight, the way I ride them. If there's a loose bolt or something, I don't want it to be a mechanical failure, how I get hurt. You know what I mean? I always picture a tire falling off going fast.
I'm sure people who like have really sick toys and they see you at one of the events are probably like, Colt, please drive my thing.
Yeah,
Do they
I
ask?
had that, not as much recently, but in the beginning, like when I rode my 4-wheeler more, everyone wanted me to wheelie their 4-wheeler. And like I would do it here and there. Like if it's a brand new one where like, yo, I just bought this. I'm like, yeah, I want to ride that anyways. Let me see.
Yeah.
But like I just try not to. One, like the way I ride, like it's a lot of wear and tear on them. So it's like if they want me to like actually turn up, like
sign this contract.
Yeah, I don't really want to break something on it. I'd feel bad.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mainly it's just I don't know who worked on it is my biggest thing. So, yeah, I kind of try not to. And a side by side, I cruise it around. I'll do that because I'm not driving all crazy and stuff.
So when you're not working on your cars and when you're not, or your vehicles, and when you're not mudding and off-roading, kind of what are you doing day to day, man?
Dude, it's this 100%.
I love asking that question because this is the second time I've asked this question on a guest interview. They always say, that's all I do, man. This is what I do.
Yeah. It's like I eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff.
Sweet.
Like, dude, I'll fall. Like when I'm in build mode especially, that's like when I really, like I become a hermit crab and I'm just like, I'm thinking about it nonstop to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, I got to stop thinking about this because it's driving me crazy. But I just want it done at this point. But yeah, it's all this. It's all I can do to, I have goals that I've met. And I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of cut back from YouTube is because I set all these goals for myself and it felt like they came too easy in a way. Yeah. Like they came too quick. And I kept going just on that same without setting new goals.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to figure that out and what I like the most because like at the end of the day, if you don't like what you do, you aren't going to succeed in it.
True.
You got to love it. You got to like be excited to wake up every day and go out and get it. And I'm finding that again now. You know what I mean? So
you pull Danny Duncan views. Like a lot of your videos I was looking through and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are great videos, but then they're getting like 300, 400, 500K views.
Yeah.
And that's insane, bro. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Especially if you start to lose a little bit of the love for the videos you are creating. It's like, oh, this is there's 300K people watching. Yeah. And I'm not really liking what I'm making. It's a scary place to be.
I feel like those were the videos that I enjoyed. I mean, okay. I'm my biggest critic. I'm never gonna fully be satisfied with a video. Yeah. But as long as I enjoy doing them, you know what I mean, I'll release them. There have been some videos that I've recorded and I haven't released them. Like, and I'm kind of kicking myself for like one of them. I wish I would have did the Moab one. That was like the most footage I ever had. But it was just like
you just didn't post it.
It was overwhelming. It was like at the end of this like I don't know 6-week trip, and it was just like I'm wore out. You know what I mean? Like, and then I looked through the footage and it's all red. It's Moab. It's like all the same color. So I'm just like, how do I find the clips? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? That one's for me. That was like I love that place. The videos weren't doing good out of state. Once I got back to Florida, I posted mudding videos again. It kicked right back up. So I was like, all right, I know what my fans want to see. That out of state riding as far as like mountain riding and, rocks and stuff, that can just be for me. But yeah, the mud stuff's what they want. So
do you know a guy named Louis Cortese? BMX rider, lived out and grew up in Groveland. He moved to Kansas recently.
Not that I know of. I mean, he grew up in Winter Garden though.
Oh yeah, not Winter Garden. He was out in Groveland. He grew up in Groveland. Then. Okay. Yeah. It's interesting that you're from Winter Garden because Winter Garden is very. Is there any off-roading places in Winter Garden here in Florida?
No, not really. I mean, we could still ride. I mean, everything's grown up now. Like all the little local spots. But no, I didn't. I had a 4-wheeler when I was like 4 up to until like 7 or so.
So you were whipping that thing in the cul-de-sac and the retention ponds and stuff. Is that
not when I was a kid? I was out mudding when I was a kid.
Okay.
But then like at 7, my parents sold and I didn't buy another 4-wheeler until, I was grown, like probably like 21, 22 years old, something like that. And that's when I started getting back into it. And, my dad used to mud. He had mud trucks back in the day, and he was actually like top dog back in the day. He had this Toyota flatbed on 44s, and back in the 90s, that was pretty big.
Sweet.
So I got him back into it, which is cool. And, but, like I would ride my friends' 4-wheelers here and there, but I always loved riding. So someone was selling a 4-wheeler, and I was like, yeah, I want it. And it was like a little Honda Recon 250, which is in the tree at my house now.
No way. You got a car in a tree? Or a 4-wheeler in a tree?
Yep. Yeah.
That's the most Harry Potter thing I think I've ever heard, dude.
Yeah, it's good decoration. It's funny when people come over that don't know about it. And like, what is that? I actually have like 3 or 4 in trees now. Little smaller ones. But that one's worth the most up there.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a Snapchat story of your 4-wheeler in a tree without even knowing it was probably yours. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I've seen that locally.
It's been on like some like big Snapchat pages and stuff. Like Sweet. I can't remember. Like I've had a couple videos out there of me on like all the Snapchat and Viral Hog and stuff like that. So it's out there somewhere.
I was doing my best friend, he has a backyard with a nice bonfire. So we'll go out to that bonfire, and we always do this thing when we're hanging out there. We do a top 5, and we do a snake draft. We were doing a top 5 for vehicles. I had the first round, first pick, and this is what I locked in with, and they all made fun of me the entire time, but hear me out. First round, first pick in the draft, I went with a golf cart, parked in the garage, seats in the back, little stereo system or a JBL speaker on it. Maybe a tarp if it's raining, you can roll down if you need. I'm like, you just got the nicest golf cart in the neighborhood. Yeah. First round, first pick. They all shitted on me. They were picking Porsches and whatnot. Yeah. I'm like, but the golf cart, man. Yeah. Be honest, was that a bad pick or was that a good pick?
No, that's a good pick. Especially like now, I don't know about Claremont, but Groveland is all like golf cart access. Yeah. You can go everywhere. And so that would be something I'd have for sure. If
I was like, clearly, y'all haven't been to the villages because golf carts are fire out there.
Oh yeah, you can go anywhere. I mean, that'd be all I'd drive. Yeah, it's like going to the store, I'd be in my golf cart.
What first round, first pick are you locking in with? Vehicle wise, any vehicle. It could be military. It could be UFO.
Damn, that's a tough question.
Right?
I would, I'd just go with probably like an F450.
Okay.
Like safe something like useful. I can pull like, overkill if it's a daily for sure. But, something I can pull anything with that's still a normal truck. Yeah. But I don't know. I'd probably take that back. If I had more time to think about it, I'd go with something like crazy for sure. But golf cart's still a good choice too,
okay, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah. I did because they were all dogging me. And then later in the draft, I went with the Lime scooters. Because I'm like, what's better than walking out a little tipsy and you see a scooter and you're like, guys, look. And you're right.
Designated to your house, like always there, no matter what. You can leave it somewhere. It just
Oh, dude, that would be sweet. I used to, those red Razor scooters that were electric that kids could buy from Walmart and they had a max speed of like 12 miles per hour or something. Yeah. Those were my 4-wheelers back in the day, dude. Yeah. Because, ever since I broke my leg, I've been terrified.
Oh, yeah. I need to get you out there. I
would love to do it.
I'll take you in the side-by-side. Side-by-side's like a car or like a Jeep. Yeah. Pretty much. Like, what I mean? You'll like it.
A little bit easier going.
But yeah, I get it with the 4-wheelers because I won't ride 3-wheelers again. I hurt myself like in like 2021, like a couple months after I quit my job. So that was my scare. I caught my ankle in between the rear tire and a pine tree at like 30 mile an hour. And luckily I was wearing like my waders. So it like gave it that padding around my ankle.
Sweet.
But I slammed into that tree and it put me down. It was like one of the, like I've never broken a bone. So it was like one of those pains where I'm like, oh shit, I think I broke something for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just sprained it really bad, but I was down for like a week.
Dude, a bad sprain could be like a bad sprain hurts like a
dude.
Could hurt more than a broken bone. I don't know why. Something about a sprain.
Yeah, I've sprained my ankles a lot, like because I used to skateboard. So like my wrists and my ankles, I've hurt them. So that's about. And then I popped this like out of place one time where I thought it was broken, but it wasn't. They just
popped it right back in.
I would have, but I didn't know it wasn't broken. I didn't want to mess with it. I would have popped it back in, but yeah, I ended up paying all that money just for them to pop it back.
The most helpless moment of my life was I was longboarding and I ended up eating it on a hill over in Lake Mineola, and I burnt my skin off of my hands. So I'm sitting here for weeks, probably about 2 weeks, where I just couldn't do anything with my hands, dude.
Road rash is the worst.
Yeah.
Road rash and burns. I would say is the worst that's ever happened to me for sure.
Road rash and burns.
Yeah.
Dude, I ate the biggest. Haven't touched a longboard since. I think I'm just a scaredy cat, bro, when it comes to crashing, bro.
I mean, it's not a bad thing because it's like, oh no, get hurt on that. Let me stay away. Like I get that. Even for me now, like with the 4-wheeler, like I won't ride it for a long time and hop back on it. And I get that adrenaline rush. Like it's like my first time riding it again, because like when I was coming up, I rode it all the time and I just got crazier and crazier on it to where I didn't have that rush anymore. So it's like a good thing to be afraid of them because you know, it kind of keeps you at your limits.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's hard to kind of balance those two out to where it's like not too much to where it's scary. You know what I mean? Because I'll do some stuff and like my heart's just like, everyone's like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm freaking out right now. Like
the adrenaline.
Yeah, the adrenaline pumping. Which is not even that crazy. All I think about is that 4-wheeler landing on me, and that like at the end of the day is like the scariest, the worst thing, especially in the water if it flips over. But it's a little safer in the water unless you're flying through it.
Yeah,
but
so like just growing up in Winter Garden, what was your kind of childhood growing up like? Because you didn't start YouTube until about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was a good kid. I skated. I did like to party. I kind of broke the rules a little bit here and there, but like I was still respectful to authority.
With long hair, if you have long hair like that, you gotta enjoy yourself a little extra sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah. And then when I grew up, and I was old enough, I was going to bars with a fake ID and stuff. And like, I just did that for so long up until I was probably like, 22. And by the time I was 22, I was like, I need it. What am I doing with my life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like to have fun, really. I skated and partied. Pretty much.
Skated and partied. Yeah. I was a good kid. I skated and partied.
Yeah, I didn't really do good in school. I could if I wanted to, but I was, I just wanted to work. I wanted to make money. I just didn't see the point. And I got it, you know what I mean? But I wasn't going to college. I wasn't doing any of that. So by the time I was like 17, I realized that. So it was just like whatever. And when I turned 18, I went and got my GED, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And I went out and got a diesel mechanic job. So
sweet.
I mean, yeah. So
what if you don't mind me asking, for like diesel mechanics, how much were you making before you switched to a full-time YouTuber?
About $1,000 a week.
$1,000 a week?
Yeah, which like before inflation and everything, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then with YouTube on top of that and merch and all that, I was making the most money right at the end before I quit my job. That's the most money I've ever made.
Dude, inflation is crazy. And then also like local economics is crazy to me, because whenever I work with brands over in California, I feel like they will say a number where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't usually like, because I'm like you, I like receiving things. Receiving things is cool. But
you don't want to ask for too much.
I don't want to ask for too much.
You also want to make sure you get your foot in the door too.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing is like, I'll like underball myself or lowball myself.
Yeah. Those California guys, I don't know if their economy is just really good over there or they just have a lot of money, but I feel like they always throw out bigger numbers to me. And I'm like,
well, it's different. Everything's more expensive over there.
True.
So it's
cost of living.
The cost of living's up. So like that to them is like, different.
I probably get off the phone call and they're like, dude, we just got this guy to do 10 ad reads for only like $100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100.
Yep. It works. I mean, everyone's happy. So I mean, but yeah.
What's the big brand? Because you have your own merchandise. Mm-hmm. Are you still selling your merch? What merch do you sell? Shirts?
The site isn't up right now. We are working on something, a new drop.
Sweet.
It'll come sometime next year. We wanted to do it before Christmas, but we would have been pushing ourselves with everything we have coming up. So we're gonna shoot for early next year. But yeah, that kind of blew up. Swamp Ranch, like I said, that just I just kind of drew something. It looked cool, and like it's really more of like a support thing. People will buy it to support. Sweet. But I also kind of want to make it stylish and something everyone could wear. You know what I mean? Instead of just the muddin scene, I want to make it for a little bit of everyone.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard balance with merchandising where it's like, I don't want to just throw my name on something and then give it to you. I want to like put some care into
that. That was my thing, and it was so hard to come up with like the logo. Like it was like I had a couple people try to do it, and it was just like no. And then finally, I just grabbed an iPad and like drew it out, and I was like, that's it. Because I used to do this thing where like I'd take people's names and I'd combine them into like one thing. Like I'd use that part of the letter to make, like, say like a J. I could use one line of the J to make an A, and then an M, you do another like point, and and you can do an E off that M or whatever. I don't know what I just spelled, James. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's almost like hitting a random button. Just like what's happening.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes. I'll sometimes sit in front of a piece of paper, like on my notebook. I have a notebook on my desk because writing it down always helps. And I'll just start writing random things.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to content, it's like hard to come up with creative ideas for designs, thumbnails.
Oh, yeah. I could only
videos.
Imagine. You had to do, like, I'm sure you spent, the whole week pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Figuring all this out.
Dude.
Yeah, it takes time. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that, like, they have a YouTube channel. All we got to do is
He's so lucky.
Yeah.
They throw the L word in there. It's like, lucky.
Dude, YouTube's the hardest job I've ever had. We'll say that right now.
Yes.
The hardest, because you are challenged. You're trying to one-up yourself each time. There's no breaks. If you take a break, you see that in the numbers the next time. Unless you come out with something crazy, like, video next. Yeah. Which is probably what I'm gonna have to do because I've waited like 5 months to post. But
a lot
of work.
We talked about Joe Rogan, and what I like about Joe Rogan is he does the post and ghost technique, where he'll post whatever he's got, or I'm sure he's automated now. Joe Rogan doesn't care about posting on Instagram or TikTok or anything, but he posts, doesn't look at it ever again.
Yeah,
that's such an interesting concept, which can be counterintuitive because you want to see feedback.
Yeah. I try to engage as much as I can. What I do is I just like ignore the negative comments.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that, like, what I mean? If you're gonna take time to do it for like the people that show support. Now, what those negative comments don't know is they still help, like, the post, they help in the algorithm, and like you almost want to get caught on that side. Like on Facebook, all my biggest videos are just people talking shit, and like I'll have millions of views of just people talking shit, and it's like, yes, that's what I want. It blew up, it worked,
And I think different communities have more hate comments too, because I had Ray Roberts on the podcast 2 episodes back. She's this girl. She's a licensed race car driver. Yeah. She's also a hyperrealism artist for cars. Amazing girl. Anyways, on the podcast, she talked a little bit about kind of hate comments. You know, every once in a while we get when I'm talking to an influencer, entertainer, content creator, we talk about hate comments every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I posted a clip of us talking about car customization and her explaining there's a right way to do it sometimes, but she understands the community of these guys just tearing her a new one, talking about this girl has no idea what she's talking about. And none of them has a firm ground to stand on. They're just all hating.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, the car community is a community, especially if you're a girl, you just get hate comments.
Yeah.
Like from random dudes.
Dang, that sucks.
But
at the same time, it's good though too, because it just like it brings it puts you in the light of someone that, like, you know, a new potential fan that actually likes your stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Whistling Diesel. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I think he's
a big YouTuber now. And now he's getting into the car, if you're into that. But he started off with just like doing stupid stuff and like, you know, mocking, like, you know, just putting like barrels on his tires, beating up trucks, and he like just destroys them. So
I've seen him.
Yeah, so like everyone would just talk shit. And like I watched him blow up from the very beginning.
He destroys like really nice cars now. Every once in a while, he'll get like I gotta look this up.
Yeah, now he's on a whole nother level.
Yeah,
and most of it's come from all hate comments. You know, in the beginning, that's all it was. And I was like, dang, I kind of feel bad for this dude. But I'm like, holy crap, he's blowing up. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay. I was like, the algorithm is
being polarizing can sell. Even in like an Andrew Tate sense, where he just takes a stance and he knows he's poking a bear every once in a while. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, that's going to generate a million comments from those people. Yeah. Like, that's why I had to throw that in there.
And it's hard to do that because you don't want to be that guy. Because, like, I mean, when I go out and film my videos, it's for the most part, it's just me running around with the camera. Yeah. I do the skits, and I do want to kind of put some more skits into my YouTube videos, like jokes and stuff. But like, I mean, when I go to an event, it's just me rolling around with the camera, riding. It's like almost like vlogging. Pretty much is vlogging.
I think that's why people like your stuff so much. Is it's your iPhone.
Yeah,
you're out there. You're really a part of the culture, and you're really just documenting what's going on.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's so true. There's no like fakeness when it comes to it.
No, none of that is. I can't. I mean, I can't like put on like a different act and then be out there with the people. I don't know. I know some people that do it, and like, I mean, you can tell just from watching the videos that they do it. But it's different. Like when it's always like, oh, I wonder what they're like in real life. You know what I mean? When my fans meet me, like they already know what I'm gonna be like in real life because it's the same old. Like, it's just me. Like, you know, I'm out there. So, you know, there's enthusiasm helps in these videos. And there's some guys that just aren't enthusiastic and like they're more chill anyway. So they kind of have to do that. So I get it. And whatever works. More power to them. But for me, I'm already like a more energetic guy, especially when stuff starts happening. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out there. So I don't really have to like do all that extra.
You're just like holding the phone right here, sitting in the swamp, just like, what's up, yo?
Yeah. A lot of stuff I actually have to take out because it's just I go too far, like messing with my friends and stuff, or like, you know, like I say something about someone I don't know and I'm joking, and then it's like, I don't want them to be, you know, I don't know if they're gonna be cool about that. A lot of times I'll just leave it, but there's some where I'll take it out when I'm joking around too much, maybe. Not YouTube friendly, I should say. Yeah.
That's what's nice about editing, bro. Editing's great.
Yeah.
I'll do a recording session, whatever I'm recording. I'll be like, trust me, it's gonna be great. Like all I have to do is cut this out and then leave that in, and we're great.
Yeah. I remember when I realized like I have the power to like do anything. Like, you know, like once my channel started to become like an actual channel and like, you know, is popular, which it happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I remember walking out to start a video one day and I was just talking to the camera, like recording. I'm like, dude, I just realized I can start this video however I want. You know, I'm sitting there trying to think of an intro and I'm like, oh, I can just record, you know, instead
of a blank canvas. And
you know, because you're trying to think, okay, how do I want to start? Like, how do I want to start this video when they first turn it on? What do I want to say? And I'm like, oh, I really don't have to say anything. I can just start it like that. So I use that clip in the video, me realizing that. But yeah, it's cool how you can control it.
Whenever people ask for advice to start doing podcasting or start doing videos, I always say the same thing. I'm like, just get your first one out of the way. Just do the process. Yeah. Don't even, I make videos where I don't even post them. Like you said, you do the same thing. Uh-huh. At least repetitions, you tried.
Yeah.
The more you do it.
I mean, if I go back and look at my old videos and I like cringe.
Yeah.
And like even I could probably go back and look at my last video, and just because it was 5 months ago, I'll like be like, But so, I mean, like I said, you're always trying to one up yourself in this YouTube. Like, you know, and as a creator, that's all you're trying to do. So like, you want to go back and look at your old videos and cringe, because if they're all the same, it's kind of like, if there's no growth there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I'm actually really excited to come up with a video idea to come out and like just record the Swamp Ranch.
Dude,
bro. That's
you gotta come
I can't
out.
believe you're
It's like
15
right
minutes.
Down the road.
Yeah.
You gotta come out, man.
Yeah, we'll set a date,
full
bro.
Tour.
I'll get over my fear of four-wheelers. I'll start looking in the mirror.
Yeah, get over that.
I'm honestly, I'm not I wouldn't be scared, but just joking.
You'd be good. I mean,
I'm not scared of anything, dude. I'm not even, dude, you can scare me with a spider right now, bro. Oh, my girlfriend has this, she doesn't just dislike cockroaches. When she sees a cockroach,
it'll scare you because of her reaction.
Yeah. You see those videos where it's like they act like something really crazy happened, but the other person's also no. And I didn't realize this till there was a cockroach in her apartment. I wasn't there, so I'm on FaceTime with her, and she's breaking down crying, locked in a room on the floor, like freaking out, like there's a cockroach and nobody's here to come get it. I'm like, I've never seen this side of you, baby. Like drive here, hurry, I need help.
That's bad.
Like, it's like this big. She's zooming in from across the room, shaking.
Yeah, what would she do if you weren't there?
Oh, dude, called the cops.
Oh,
she ended up calling her. She called her brother. She called her sister.
She went through the whole list. Who was getting there first?
And she, you know, you couldn't talk her down.
Yeah,
that was a fear. She was terrified. Terrified.
I don't know if I'm that afraid of like anything. Like I'm like, sure, like if I was eye to eye with like a, you know, like a freaking tiger or something or a lion, like, you know, like but I wouldn't freak out like that. I think I don't know what I'd do.
All right,
I'd almost freeze. Yeah, you'd have to accept it. Like, you know, I
see Kolt Gene on a tiger mudding with a tiger, dude.
Oh, dude, if I'm in my four-wheeler side by side, I'm taking off. Yeah. I'm off.
You see any crazy animals out there? Gators?
Not really. Yeah, gators all the time.
You ever get a little close to one without knowing? They're probably really afraid of the engines.
Afraid of you out there. Like, you know, and then you got these big knobby tires coming through. But yeah, I see some gators. There's a lot of people that will like jump off their four-wheeler and go to try to catch them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But like, I don't do that.
It's a great video idea. That's a great thumbnail right there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can get in trouble for it. We have, I have gators out at my house and stuff. So, I mean, like they're out there swimming around.
You ever throw them Thanksgiving food?
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to feed
them
the gators.
They come too much?
Yeah, and then they'll get comfortable and they'll come up and get you. That's when they get you. That's why you see like those signs like don't feed the gators. Because like they get comfortable with humans, then they aren't afraid of them no more, and then that's when people start getting got.
Yeah, they probably see you and then they're like, oh, that's food, that means food.
Yeah, if anything, I'm like riding towards them like, hey, this is mine.
Yeah,
get back out there. Yeah. I've only actually seen like the little baby gators on my property. I know there's a big one out there. Mama's out there somewhere.
She's hiding. She's probably just watching you every day.
Yeah,
without you even knowing. She's like,
yep,
there's Kolt.
Yep.
You know how they just
pretty much.
They're so slow at first. They're just
they can move quick though.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like real chill. If you don't mess with them, they ain't gonna mess with you for the most part.
Yeah.
And if you get too close, they're gonna take off.
Some of the videos I do on my personal channel, I've been trying the intricacies of doing like crazy, outlandish, difficult things.
Yeah.
And my buddies, I do a boys only podcast where it's just me and the boys and we're hanging out. We drink wine. We'll do whatever. And they brought up how I should fight a bear. And I'm like, if I ever fight a bear for a YouTube video, tell me to stop making content and I've taken it too far.
Yeah, you'll die.
Yeah.
There's no winning.
Black bear though? You think?
No, there's no winning.
Okay.
It's a bear.
A black bear though.
It's a bear.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a bear. Think about like the strongest dude you know, and then times that by like 10.
He'd get me.
Yeah.
He'd get me.
Yeah. And then he has like claws and
you're gonna punch a bear? Like, really think about a bear's facial structure. You're gonna punch a bear and it's gonna hurt it? Really?
I feel like you can spook a bear, but you ain't gonna win. It's like if that bear's wanting to come after you, it's gonna get you.
Is the hey bear a real thing? Going, hey bear. Is that a real to scare bears away?
I've never heard of that.
People, so on trails and stuff, I guess when you see a bear, you know how you're not supposed to run or anything?
Yeah, you're supposed to like yell or something.
Yeah, you're supposed to like say, hey bear, hey bear. And I'm like,
no, I don't know about that. I'm getting out of there. I ain't talking to him. Yeah. I might talk like, yo, bro, chill. Like, we good?
Right.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
just to comfort yourself. Like, hey, yo.
Like, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of the tricks. I just know if I see them, I'm out. But I feel like bears are kind of like the same thing. They get spooked when people come around. Unless you're messing with their cubs or something. Like, same with gators. You're messing with their little lizards. Yeah. They aren't going to mess with you. I don't think. I would hope not.
I just love when a dog or a cat walks back to the house and they got a little tail hanging out their mouth. Yeah. And they're like looking at you. Look what I found. They always want to show you too.
Dude, cats are brutal. They are brutal killers. We just actually got a new kitten out there, and like they'll bring back water moccasins and squirrels, birds. Like they kill.
They're hunters
out there. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cats scare me. Like if a cat really disliked me, a dog scares me a little bit less if it really disliked me because I know how to fight it. It's gonna tear me up.
Yeah.
And if there's multiple, I'm done for. But a cat, I feel like it'll climb on, latch on, run, and then jump back on.
Oh, I'll fuck a cat up.
You'd fuck a cat up.
Yeah, if that thing was latched onto me or whatever. Yeah, that cat's coming off me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have some scrapes and stuff, but I mean, like a dog though, like the right dog will get you, dude. Once they, you know what I mean? But yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah. Like I feel like until you're in that spot, and then you're like, oh shoot, because you don't want to hit a dog first.
Yeah,
they gotta come at you. Like
they're gonna press charges, bro.
Yeah. So the dogs kind of gotta attack you first before you swing. So like you gotta sit there and wait for them to come. But I feel like I can take a dog.
Yeah, nobody wants to kill a dog, but everybody wants to kill a cat.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would do anything to make sure that dog was good to walk away. But
like
if a cat,
like get the fuck out of here. Like we've had a mean cat when I was a kid. Like you would never see it as an indoor cat. I mean, you never see it, and when you do, it just like gave you the deathish look, like, and just went like, and it was like, yo, fuck that cat. Like that cat needs to accidentally get lost or something. My dad and my little sister tried that once. I don't know if my stepmom knows. Sorry, Dad. But
you heard it here.
I just found out about it the other day. So, but yeah, I guess they try to get rid of that cat. Like they
on accident.
Ran out. Like they left the door open and shut it, and then the cat came back. So they're like, "Dang it, dude! This cat! Like we found it." So it wasn't like we bought
a feral cat.
It was a feral cat, but dude, this cat was a demon. It was bad.
That's the thing is you're not gonna find dogs can become evil with improper relationships and stuff, but a cat could just be evil, man.
Yeah, they're just I feel like they all like just they have like even if they're nice, they still be doing evil stuff. They don't care. It's all about them. Look at how much they kill. What other animal kills that much just for fun?
True.
You know what I mean? Cats kill for fun.
Probably just humans.
Like I had a cat sit there and it was playing with something on the porch and I wasn't paying attention. And then all of a sudden it flew past my head and I looked and it was a mouse. It was just still alive and he was just sitting there playing with them, like throwing them around and stuff. Yeah, and then he ran up and caught him again. Yeah, I was like, oh shoot.
Most cats are like that. But my girlfriend's cat, she's the type of cat that just looks at the cockroach.
Yeah.
So it's so fun. Actually,
dude,
there was a cockroach.
That cat, or like.
Funny enough, this cat, so it's very cute. I love everything about this cat. She's a great cat.
Yeah.
But when it sees another animal, it's not its personality changes.
Yeah.
It doesn't like any other animals, cats or dogs. I brought over this boxer that I watch every once in a while. Her name's Bella. Cute, huge boxer though.
Yeah.
Scary looking boxer, can be. Oh my gosh. Grace, the cat, was not having it.
Yeah.
Ears down, did not leave sight of the, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Cats will be like that. I mean, unless they're like, you know, you have dogs, like they're cool with your dogs, but if you bring in an outside dog,
yeah,
it's hit or miss. You never know with like cats and dogs, when like even good dogs that are good with everyone else, you never really know if they're going to be good with that cat.
True.
Too. So like cats are like that though, with pretty much anything.
You guys have dogs out there when you're off-roading and stuff. Is it do they just come out to have fun, or do the dogs do something for you while you're out there?
We used to. We try not. They're getting older now, so I mean, and they've gotten ran over quite a few times. So, but you know, by accident, of course.
Yeah.
But, like when we've learned, like if we're having parties, definitely go up. And now anytime we ride, they go up, because for one, they get filthy, dirty, and then we have to wash them, or hose them down. There ain't no point washing them like religiously out there. But we put them up now. But yeah, I used to run my dog a lot when he was younger.
Good. He's probably an athletic dog though.
Oh yeah, very
real athletic.
Very.
You know, they're
one of them is, or one of the pit bulls is, I should say. The other one's the opposite. He's like a shop dog. He just lays around and like in the shop. He's a crowd favorite.
You know what? One of the worst things in human existence is sprinting on sand.
Sick. But yeah, you can wear yourself out trying to walk through mud.
I want to see, for some reason, I just had this thought of Kanye West mudding. I feel like Kanye West, he just wears stuff like that, like waders, without even being muddy.
I could see him go out and trying that.
Big old boots.
Yeah.
Little Kanye, yay, right on the waders.
Dude, you'd be surprised who you see out there mudding. Like, I have a bunch of like sports teams that follow, or not teams, but players that follow me.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a lot of people into it that are all like, and that have gotten into it just because of YouTube and, you know, all these videos. They start watching like my channel, Oster Cruisers, and they see all these different channels, and they're you know, they want to try it. And once you try it, dude, it's
no going back.
Yeah, anyone that comes out to my house that has never been mudding, there's a lot of people that go out and buy a side-by-side or a four-wheeler shortly after.
The environment sounds amazing. Like you said, it sounds like an escape, because for me, my escape is probably, you know, going down to the basketball court alone on Sunset, or going to the beach and drinking a little bit and just kind of playing spike ball.
Yeah.
Mudding, you know, good music on, whatever you got going, sounds like
it's like an escape and an adventure at the same time. Because realistically, you don't know what's going to happen on those trails. You don't know like what's out there, this and that.
Yeah.
I like to go out there and rescue people. Like, you know, if I see someone broke down or stuck or whatever, I like to be the guy to like go,
that's
hey,
cool.
You need help? Yeah, I bet you do. Here.
Yeah.
Like hook up the winch.
Let me save you.
It's fun. That's how you meet new people. too. And like, it's better for me too, because like I could go out to like the main area and park, and then there's a bunch of people that come up and start, and I feel like you said, your buddy likes to connect with people and get to know them. So do I. So like when I have a bunch of people just coming up, hey, can I get a picture of this, that, and I get pulled away from, like, you know, I'm trying to just talk to as many people as I can. So like when I'm out there in the trails, it's just like that one little group. So I get my time with them, and then that group.
Show them a good time, and then...
Yeah. So it's just like I like to get to know people and like the area, and
being out there in the woods and the swamps. Have you ever just seen a random person just out there?
Yeah, that's freaky. And it's like you think about it though, because like you'll see a random person and then like it's like, oh yeah, I'm a random person too, so it might be freaky for them too. But yeah, I mean, like that's the kind of stuff, especially at like night when there's like no one and you aren't in like events is different, because it's like, you know, everyone's there for the same reason. When you go out to like these local spots where it's like, you know, you just go in and ride, that can be freaky, because like, I mean, you never know.
Especially if they don't even have a ride, they're just sitting out there. They're just standing there across the forest looking at you.
That's why I like my side-by-side. It makes me feel safe. It's all metal and protected and everything. I can just plow through the, like if I gotta get away, I'm like, bear tries to attack me, it's like, I got metal doors, not plastic anymore. So I'm good now.
Nobody can grab you off your four-wheeler in the pitch black. And you have a bunch of lights on all your vehicles when you go in the town?
Yeah, it's all lit up, especially my side-by-side.
Sweet.
So well, I don't have like those like disco Timmy lights that light up and all that. I have like LED pods. I have 10 LED pods around my whole side-by-side, plus the headlights. So I can see like a full 360 around my side-by-side if I need to.
What's the legal stuff when it comes to finding land to have fun with? Is there, you know, set spots that everybody knows is cool to do there? Or is there secret spots where it's like cops might pull up and be like, hey, y'all got to get out of here, man?
I feel like, no, like all the local spots would be like, you're taking a risk of cops showing up. And so, I mean, but for the most part, you don't have to deal with that. I try not to ride local so much, just because like, or at least try not to film it when I do, because, you know, no one wants their spot blown up.
You don't want to ruin it.
Down and a bunch of cops coming out. And I like, you know, like I'm not there to do that. I don't name the place if I do film, but I don't want to piss off the locals either. You know what I mean? So I try to be respectful of their, you know, their home little base, and still ride there at the same time. It was bittersweet, like when I blew up, because I'm like, dang, like I would do that. I'd announce where I'm going, and then I'd see people like not like it. So I'm like, ooh, let me take that.
Yeah, find a balance.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, dang, can I not ride at these places anymore? Right. Or are people just gonna be pissed off at me?
Yeah.
But for the most part, everyone loves it. You know?
Yeah.
So
when you arrive, well, the guy's like, well, there's old Kolt Gene. What's up, man?
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, I got a lot of love out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go out there, and especially in Florida, when I go to Florida, it feels like everyone there knows who I am, because everyone's waving. Yeah. And like saying Swamp Ranch, Kolt. And I remember like specifically the first time I realized that, I was just going down Main Trail, and it happened. Like I had a couple of YouTube videos blow up. I was like, you know, oh, I did good. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that many people like knew who I was at that point. So it was just like, it was eye-opening. And that was probably around that time is when like I was like, okay, I can do something with this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I can like actually push it. Like if this many people know who I am locally, I can travel to these parks and get my name out there, build even crazier stuff like my side-by-side and swamp buggy and all that.
Yeah, right before we recorded, I was saying did we say it on the podcast? I don't remember, but my best friend's girlfriend's family, you know, introduced me to you, and she was like, this guy is like Jesus to my family. Yeah. She used the J word. I was like, holy. And I started watching and I'm like, people love your stuff, bro.
Dude, yeah.
I love it.
I can tell. I mean, like I said, they're the ones that keep me going. This is the hardest job, and I really don't make much doing it. And everything I do make, it
right there with
dumped right back in.
Yeah.
So everyone that's into this sport knows how much it costs. So it is hard to like tell myself, oh, keep going. But that, like, even hearing that about your friend, like that right there, like keeps me going, and it's the reason I do it. Really.
I walked past a basketball court. I was on like episode 46 of the podcast. I have this whole crazy story that my viewers have heard plenty of times, but the day before I started full-time college was the first time I had like a viral clip come off the podcast, and I was about to quit the podcast that night. Anyways, the guy I had on that I went viral with stopped by my job with a cake and a balloon, and I had my notifications turned off, and he's like, it's had 1 million written on it, and he's like, yo, look at your phone. And I pull up my phone, it's like 80,000 notifications. I'm like,
that's dope. Yeah, that's such a good feeling.
Dude, and I walked past a basketball court a couple weeks after, and a bunch of kids from the basketball court started saying, yo, like, and the clip was about go get the gas. It was a viral clip we had.
Yeah. I was like, holy that whole podcast.
Sick.
Yeah.
Back then? Or just recently?
No, recently.
Okay,
after
sweet.
You reached out, I was like, all right, let me see his highest viewed. And then I watched part of the girl, the
most recent one,
Yeah, I watched part of that too.
Sweet.
But yeah, I checked
was
out
like,
that
what?
one. That guy has some good energy, man.
Oh,
I can see, I don't know who he is, but I know he's somebody because of his energy and his
He lives in Groveland.
Does he?
Yeah, he actually has a studio spot in Groveland. He has a whole thing built out. If you ever needed like a sit down recording studio, he's got that.
Dope. What's his name again?
His name's Ty House.
But
his social media name is Mr. Go Get the Gas.
Okay.
Mr. Go Get the Gas.
Oh, so that's
he said that, and then every time he'd see somebody like, yo,
he does like YouTube? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does like the studio videos where he'll do 10 on 10 find your match. And so he has all his friends come out and the girls and guys talk, and he's kind of like the host.
Okay.
And he does vlogs. Like he'll go to South Beach, Miami, and he's just this really loud, crazy guy.
Yeah.
He'll be at South Beach like
YouTube 100.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
twerk!
if he doesn't do it, he needs to. But yeah.
Great guy. You'll have to meet him. I was with him all day yesterday. And in fact, he might be lifting with me today. I'll have to introduce you guys at some point.
All right.
But that's what, I love doing this stuff, man.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
You get to be creative. Like, I'm a creative person. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like that's how
the whole randomized letters thing. I was like, okay, he is creative.
Yeah.
How you write a letter?
I mean, I grew up writing music. That's like always been. That's actually I always wanted to be an entertainer, and all my friends growing up, they would be like, "You're gonna be famous one day. You're gonna be famous." Like everyone would say it, and I was like, "I know." Like not in a cocky way, but like I know because everyone freaking tells me. And I had always thought it was gonna be for music, and for the longest time I'd fight it. Like I've recorded so many songs, probably like not a shitload, but enough like to release a couple albums.
Wow.
But I've never released them just because like I didn't know if I wanted that. You know what I mean? Like I would think, okay, what comes with like the fame, like, you know what I mean? Like, and what comes with music? You have to do shows, you have to travel as fast, which I would enjoy, but I really didn't want the nightlife. You know what I mean?
That's really smart that you thought about the actual work itself. Because everybody's like, oh, I like making music and I want to be a hip hop artist. And they're like, wait, this requires going on tour and shows and managers.
Yeah. Which I say that, but I'm still gonna release a song probably, maybe. I don't know.
Well, like I said, you have the following to do so.
Yeah. So I do want to at least share. There is one song specifically that I have to share with the world. It's like, because music is more for like me. Like I'll write a verse and then not finish the song and just feel better about myself and then I forget about it. I've done so many of those. So like just lately I haven't, like with the whole YouTube thing, I haven't really had time, but there was like this one song I lost, and I lost it for like a year, and I thought about it every single day because that was like the one song I would have released. It's like really personal and deep, but it's like one of those songs where it's like, dude, I gotta share this. Like, you know what I mean? It's selfish to keep it to
You're gonna
myself.
make a music video and stuff too, and
yeah.
Sweet.
It's gonna be like, I have a whole idea in my head of how it's gonna go. It's gonna be probably a high budget music video,
Sweet.
but I'm gonna try to get it done like through networking as much as I can to kind of get that price down. But yeah, I'll find someone.
You gonna throw in like mudding and off-roading into the video? You think that's gonna be a concept, or will it be something completely different?
It'll be out there at the property. I do want to do it at the property because it's like a good
That's you.
But it's not gonna be like me riding. I'll probably have my side by side in it. I do have a scene where my side by side's in it, but it's more of like it's like two of me. The song's called War, and it's like,
so this is like Eminem type stuff. There's two versions of you?
Yeah, well, yeah, the song's called War, and it talks about like I'm at war with my own mind. Like there's both sides, like good, bad, or this or that, and you're trying to decide. Like I was trying to find myself, and you're battling this other self, like, you know what I mean? It's really coming out of my shell, and like actually I wrote the song right before I started YouTube, like, you know, all of this. Wow. So like I was in like a really deep part of my life, you know, I was going through it. You know, everybody has
those months,
like there's levels to it, but you know, I was like, it was one of my lowest. And that song, as soon as I finished that song, it was just like a freaking switch. And my mindset was completely different. I was motivated, I was positive, and I recorded it, and every time I'd show it to someone, they'd be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You see this? Like they're like, "Yo, it's so good." Like I see the chills, and like, but are you like, dude? You went through it. Like I'm good now. Like
that's, you know, sweet.
Like this song helped me through it. So, and that's what a lot of my music is. I feel like if I like, especially being like in the mudding industry, it's more like high hip hop, you know, I mean, or
real bassy,
and you aren't really cruising around
very Kevin Gates feel,
listening to like deep music, you know what I mean? So it's not gonna be one of those songs where I hope not to hear it out on the trails, because it's like really deep, and you know, but that I feel like those songs are what hit home the most, and like all the other ones feel corny. I can write you can write a hook hit, but it just sounds like everyone else to me.
Songs that you only listen to kind of while alone, or with that one friend you got that understands this type of stuff. Those are always the most sweet. Like there's plenty of songs that I'll skip real quick if somebody's in my passenger seat, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's
This is one of those that you'll skip and be like, all right, let me skip this. But like when you're on when you're by yourself, you listen to it and it's like, shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's deep, you know.
Damn, bro. Well, I'm excited to if you have it after the pod, I'd love to like get a snippet.
I can show you like a clip of what all I have left. I have to re-record the song because like I said, I lost the song, but I ended up finding the lyrics.
And it reminded you of it
a couple months ago. Yeah, and it clicked, and I was like, no, I thought about it every day until I found those lyrics. Like I had to search for them, and it was for like a year, dude. Like it was gone, maybe even 2 years, and it killed me. I was like, I'll never write again if I don't find this song.
Dude, I had a hard drive that was a hard disk drive, so if you drop it, it breaks and it loses its memory. I had about episode like 30 to episode 98 all on this hard drive, and I dropped it. And so I took it to this place that can restore it. A lot of the times they're not restorable. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is one of those. It's just, you know, this happened, so it can't be restored.
That sucks.
And I was like, what? But I took that with a grain of salt, where I'm like, maybe this is showing me that say goodbye to all the old stuff you made and make new. You know?
It's like a refresh. I mean, dude, I kind of regret it now, but I've deleted a lot of my videos because I never backed them up on my phone or anything. And when I'm going to a mud event and I need storage, you know, everything's on my phone, I need storage, I'm deleting.
Yeah.
Sometimes I delete the YouTube videos, and a lot of times I do it on purpose because they're like 20, 30 minutes long. They take up a lot of space. So a lot of my old content I don't have either, which sucks in a way, but yeah, it's like a refresh too.
Yeah. We got new stuff coming out. Yeah, new stuff. Here we go.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna think of a crazy fun video idea to whether it's you just scaring the shit out of me in a side by side, and I'm just sitting there like we got to do something like that
with someone. I put the camera up because this dude was scared, so I threw him in, and like he had no idea what to expect, you know. And he put on different clothes and everything. I was like, dude, you aren't gonna get dirty. He goes, what? No, I'm gonna change. I was like, I promise you ain't gonna get dirty in this. And he still came out, and yeah, I scared the shit out of him.
So you don't get muddy in side by sides?
No, you can, but I mean, like,
you know
where I was taking him in my limited, like a limited has like it's fully enclosed, so it's like a vehicle. So you can go like
shoot,
like water and stuff still comes in, but like only at a certain depth, and you can just lift your feet up, and then it drains out, and you put your feet back down.
Sick, man.
But not for me. I'm hitting the gas, but you know, passengers. But
Kolt Gene's always hitting the gas, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
Well, bro, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. This is your podcast virginity that I just took.
This is my first podcast.
Sick.
I was excited.
Bro,
we got to get my buddy J-Ball on here.
Yeah, let's run it.
We'll come back or something. Like, this was fun.
We'll do, I don't know, do you drink wine or beer or anything?
Every now and then. I don't drink wine or beer, but I drink liquor every now and then. I try not to
sip
drink,
on whiskey.
Especially like my time to drink is like at events. But even there, I try not to do it because there's a lot of kids and a lot of people. True. You know, I like to stay on point. But yeah, I drink. I can drink socially.
Sweet. Well, next time we'll run a pod. We'll have J-Ball. We'll, drink some liquor then, and we'll talk about fighting bears again, dude.
I'm about it.
Well, hey, everybody, links in the description. Kolt Gene, follow his YouTube, follow his TikTok, follow his Instagram. He's available everywhere.
Kolt Gene on everything with a K.
With a K.
With a K.
This guy's the legend. I love you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Make this your weekly podcast. I'm telling you guys. We're going to have a boys only episode coming out after the Kolt Gene interview. Appreciate y'all stopping by as always. This is Kolt and Brant signing off. Peace.
Peace.